A friend of mine on Facebook wrote this. Here's my opinion on abortion. I would rather see a healthy baby born and adopted by a loving gay or straight family than aborted. However, I do believe a woman has a right to decide when it concerns her body, and that no federal or state government official should tell her what she can or can't do with it when it concerns her body. I believe it's her body and her choice, not the choice of some old man. I believe that a pubescent child who is raped by a family member and gets pregnant should not be forced to give birth. I believe that a woman should not be forced to give birth and suffer that mental and emotional trauma. I believe that women who are violently raped should not be forced to give birth and suffer through more emotional and mental trauma. I do not believe that a woman whose life is in danger should not be forced to give birth if it results in her death. I believe abortion should be legal. I believe that conservative Republican evangelicals don't care about women or children once they're born. I think that conservative Republicans lack empathy, compassion, morality, and human decency. I also strongly disagree with the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, and I think it's a violation of women's constitutional rights under the 9th Amendment. The Supreme Court found that several rights are protected under the 9th Amendment, including the right to make important decisions about one's body and health care. Make no mistake about it, Donald Trump purposely appointed 3 pro-life appointees to the Supreme Court in the bid to end abortion rights. To those of you celebrating the rights of your fellow Americans being taken away, I have a message for you. The conservatives in the Supreme Court are not going to stop with overturning Roe v. Wade. They're already looking at other important court decisions that include gay marriage, LGBTQ rights, and allowing people access to birth control. To the people who don't care, eventually they'll have to take a freedom away that directly affects you. Then you'll care, but it'll be all too late for it. So get out and vote Democrat. Protest peacefully and non-violently. But go out and express your First Amendment rights while we still have them. In conclusion, let me make this very perfectly clear. If you truly care about your freedom and the freedom of your fellow Americans, then I suggest you vote Democrat. The Republicans have proven that they only care about power and control over others and not about freedom. First, I want to thank my friend for actually posting this on Facebook and allowing me to post it here on YouTube and Facebook and whatnot. But there are several aspects about it that he forgot to mention. Now, again, you know my personal stance on when it comes to abortion, and his statement actually touched on that. Now, I'm against abortion on certain circumstances. Again, if it's a 16-year-old kid who has consensual sex on prom night, you're woman enough to lay in bed, you're woman enough to have a baby. And barring that, there's also surrogacy, putting the child up for adoption, things of that nature. Abortion should be the very last option for anyone who's had consensual sex. And of course, when the statement actually touched on what if it was rape and what if the woman's life is in danger, things of that nature, then I gap to support it. Because when it's the woman's life in danger, your job is to save lives. And it's unfortunate that it might mean terminating the pregnancy to save lives. Forcing a birth, even if there's a possibility that the woman might survive or anything like that, is just as destructive. And forcing a kid, now I need to say this real quick. Whenever you're debating a pro-lifer, be extremely careful, because not a day ago, before this I made this video, I was debating this staunch anti-abortionist on Facebook Messenger, and I asked him the question that I think a lot of us who are in the middle of the abortion issue, whether you're anti or pro-abortion, we asked him this question. Now, he has two daughters. I won't mention his name or anything because of security reasons, but he has two daughters, and their pictures plastered around his Facebook profile. And I asked him the simplest question. If your daughters were raped, if they were impregnated by their rapist, would you really take that choice away from your daughters? Would you really want to put them through that kind of trauma? Of course, he didn't answer, and he said he would kill the person who raped them. And I made it clear you didn't answer the question. So I asked him again. If someone raped one of your little girls right now, impregnated them, you would take away the choice they would have to have an abortion? And I kept asking that question because he kept avoiding that question. And I asked him again and again and again, about 3 or 4 times. And he proceeded to threaten to kill me and warned me not to provoke him. So be very careful. Be extremely careful when you're debating an anti-abortionist, because you have no idea what these people could be probably capable of. In the last couple of days, we've seen nothing but peaceful protests in every city for those who are angry about Roe v. Wade being overturned. But we've also seen instances of anti-abortionists being incredibly violent, even threatening violence. But the real thing I need to talk about with this statement is the fact that he is absolutely correct, my friend who posted that statement. This is not the end. And I'm not just talking about the LGBTQ rights, gay marriage, contraceptives, or anything like that. I'm talking about rights that have been in this country for decades, rights that we have fought for. And yes, unfortunately, as I have to act as many Republicans, white Republicans are going to hate me for it, I have to mention civil rights, black rights, the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act. Because don't make no mistake about it, that is their main target. Just one day ago, Senator John Cohen, a Republican, tweeted that he wants to overturn Brown versus Board of Education. And of course, everybody, if you're a constitutional scholar like I am, Brown versus Board of Education means basically separate but equal, basically anti-segregation laws. John Cornyn actually posted a tweet asking the Supreme Court to overturn it. So don't think for 1 second that this is the end of it. The Republicans are showing us exactly what they are and exactly what they're trying to support and exactly what they're trying to eliminate day in and day out. They've shown that, and the statement says, they've shown that they have no empathy whatsoever. We've seen that after, now here we are 3-4 weeks away removed from the Irvindale shootings. 3-4 weeks removed from the Buffalo shootings. And not one single Republican has shown any kind of empathy or any kind of sympathy, any real meaning sympathy outside of thoughts and prayers for those shootings. Now, I'm not trying to equate the two. The Buffalo shooting happened and were killed because of racism. And older African Americans were murdered there. But when it comes to Irvindale, when it comes to children being killed, I have yet to hear any kind of real life sympathy from Republicans, which shows to me that they don't matter. Just one day ago, I make this comment on Facebook saying that, yeah, you won against Roe v. Wade. You eliminated abortion in this country, but when are you going to start talking about the guns in this country killing kids? whether it's a mass shooting or a murder or just a drive-by, using every kind of racist excuse they can think of. One Facebook idiot once said that at least they had a chance for life. There were kids in that school, in that elementary school in Texas. There were kids in that school in Sadie Hook. There were kids in Columbine. There were kids in that theater in Aurora, Colorado. So congratulations, you saved the unborn. Now what about the born? What about the living? Republicans have shown you have no empathy. You don't care about the living. You just care about the birth. What really bothers me, and I saw this on a TV show not too long ago, and it's really, really real. One of the characters said something along the lines of, God creates all men equal, but when they get out of the room, he plays favorites. Well, in this particular case, God does create men all equal. But when they come out of the room, Republicans, white evangelical Republicans, play favorites. And we already know what their favorites are. They're not even trying to hide what their favorites are. Now, you want to stop abortion? Fine. Don't trample on women's rights to do it. You want to stop abortion? Fine. Don't trample on other rights to do it. Because as much as they want to see the LGBTQ destroyed, the gay rights destroyed, gay marriage destroyed, we do not need to forget. We don't need to forget what the real target is. And we don't need to forget what kind of country they want. I mean, I think I have to paraphrase again that poem just before I end this video, what Pastor Niemoller said. First they came for abortion, and I didn't say anything because I'm not a man and I can't get pregnant. Then they came after the LGBTQ, and I didn't say anything because I'm not LGBTQ. Then they came after the Asians, the Latinos, the Muslims, and I didn't say anything about it because I'm not Asian, Latino, or Muslim. Then they came after the people who don't believe in Christianity, or at least their version of Christianity, and I didn't believe it and I didn't say anything because I don't believe in Christianity. Then they came for the blacks, the real target, and I didn't say. And a lot of the Americans out there are probably saying, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not black. And by the time they came after me, whether I'm white or overweight or I don't go to the same school, I don't have the same education level, whatever. By the time they came after me, it was already too late for anyone else to speak up because everyone else was gone. We're in a mode in this country right now that we have more guns on the street that are unregulated, no regulations whatsoever, almost next to none, no regulations, thanks to the Supreme Court. But you're heavily regulating a woman's choice. That flagrantly violates the Constitution, the Ninth Amendment, as I said in this statement. So, for all of us out there, fight back. Fight back by peacefully protesting. Fight back by your votes. Do not go out there violent, because that's exactly what the Republican Party wants. They're trying to wipe the taste of January 6, 2021 out of their mouths. Don't give them that chance. The Republican Party and especially the anti-abortionists are firing the shots. We can't do that. Abortion is on the ballot this year. That is how we fight. Through the ballot box. Get your friends, get your family members, call everyone you can, your Facebook friends, your Twitter followers, all of them. Get them to vote blue this year. Because right now, it's life and death for our country. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.